Hi guys, in today's video I am sharing with you a bunch of recipes for frozen meatballs. Frozen meatballs are so easy and convenient, but sometimes we just don't want spaghetti and meatballs every night. So I have 6 ideas for you that I'm going to show you. They're all super delicious. I will list them in the description box also, but let me get to showing you these frozen meatball recipes. So I'm going to be using my crock pot. I love using my crock pot with meatballs. This is going to be some enchilada meatballs. So I have some red enchilada sauce, and I'm not going to use this whole can. I'm just going to cover the meatballs with the sauce. And then I'm going to add on some shredded cheese, and I'm using Monterey Jack cheese for this. Super easy. I'm just going to set this on low, and they only take about 2 to 4 hours to cook, so I have it on my low setting. These are all done. The cheese is nice and melted. The meatballs are all cooked in the flavor and super delicious. I absolutely love this one, and I'm going to serve it with a side of brown rice and then a side salad as well. But tons of awesome flavor with the enchilada sauce. Just really, really good if you're craving some Mexican food. So for this meatball recipe, I'm going to be doing some Swedish meatballs. I love Swedish meatballs. They are one of my favorites, and this is so easy, just popping it all in the crock pot with the frozen meatballs. So I have 1 can of cream of mushroom, and then I have 2 cups of beef broth. I'm going to add that in. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and this gives it just a really awesome flavor. And cooking the meatballs in all of these juices and sauces just make them so tender and yummy, and so easy. I just love how easy all of these are. So I'm going to add in a packet of brown gravy mix, and this is going to thicken up that sauce a little bit. I'm going to add in some seasonings as well, and like I said, just one of the really easiest, my most favorite recipes with frozen meatballs. So I'm going to add in cornstarch as well to thicken up this gravy to make just a really good, awesome sauce. I love to serve this with noodles, but you can serve it with any kind of side that you'd like. I'm going to give it a little bit of stir, and these meatballs just turn out really, really perfect. My family loves these, so we've been making them quite often lately. So I have it on low for 8 hours, and I usually check it at about 6 hours because I don't have a 6-hour low setting on my crock pot, but really delicious dinner and super easy. So for this meatball recipe, I'm going to be doing some Hawaiian meatballs. So I have my frozen meatballs. I have a red bell pepper, a green bell pepper that I have diced up into some medium-sized chunks. I have a can of pineapple chunks. I'm going to drain the juice out of that before I pour the pineapple in. I'm going to add in some monk fruit sweetener, and this is the golden monk fruit, so it's a brown sugar sweetener. You can use regular brown sugar if you'd like. I'm going to do liquid aminos, 1 cup. You can add in soy sauce if you would like, but I like to do some keto recipes here and there, keeping it keto friendly with the monk fruit sweetener and the liquid aminos. So giving it a stir, I'm going to cook this on low, and again, I'm going to cook this for about 6 hours. Frozen meatballs, you can cook them longer, they just don't need the whole 8 hours. So these turn out so perfect, and like I said, they're always so tender when they are cooking in these sauces all day long, and just so tasty. I love the flavors of this one, the Hawaiian type flavor with the pineapple. So good. So I serve this one with cauliflower rice. You can do regular rice or noodles as well. And I always like to serve a side salad also, usually on a different plate so the juices don't get on the salad. So I'm going to be doing spaghetti squash. I'm going to be doing this one also in my crock pot. I just love using my crock pot. But I have my meatballs and my no sugar added sauce. So for the spaghetti squash, I am going to cut it in half. And they're pretty tough, so you just gotta cut through it and scoop out all of the centers. So it's got the seeds and everything in the center. So I use my melon baller to scoop all this out, and it's super easy. So I'm going to be using my crock pot again. The crock pot it's one of my most used kitchen appliances for sure. I use it for so many things. But I am going to cook this spaghetti squash. I'm going to place it down into the crock pot. I'm going to add in my sauce, and you can use any kind of sauce you'd like. This is my favorite, and my family loves it too, and I love that it's no sugar added because there's so much sugar added in processed foods, and especially tomato product processed foods. So love this one. I'm going to add in my frozen meatballs, and this is just a really great way to cook spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash takes a while to cook. You can cook it in the oven. You can even cook it in the microwave. It just takes a little while. So cooking it in the crock pot is just so simple. You can just set it and basically forget about it. So I am going to cook this on low for 8 hours, and then when it is done, the spaghetti squash just shreds like noodles, and you have a really awesome spaghetti and meatballs. So I'm going to be doing a super quick appetizer. This is our favorite easy appetizer for our whole family. Like every family function, somebody brings this. It is just meatballs and your favorite barbecue sauce. And then you heat them up in the crock pot, and you just leave them on warm while you're serving for your party. And hands down, the easiest appetizer ever. You can do high for 2 hours or low for 4 hours. But just the best appetizer, and so easy. Like we have these all the time, like for every function. So you just give them a stir. You can do a little cup of toothpicks next to your crock pot, and people can just pick one out and they can stay warm in the crock pot. So definitely one of our family favorites for sure. So this next recipe is going to be kind of another version of a Hawaiian meatball. So I have my olive oil, and I'm going to cook up my bell pepper. I'm going to saute it for a few minutes and get it a little bit soft. Once it's soft, I'll add in my minced garlic. I'm using about a teaspoon of minced garlic. I'm going to give that a stir with the bell pepper. And then I'm going to add into, with this one, I have some soy sauce. I have half a cup of soy sauce. I have a tablespoon of, I have brown monk fruit sweetener, or you can use regular brown sugar if you'd like. I'm also going to add in a little bit of cornstarch to kind of thicken this sauce up a little bit so that it coats really awesome on the meatballs. So I'm going to add in the frozen meatballs, and I'm going to put the lid on this and actually let this cook and steam with the meatballs for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then once these are all nice and cooked through, and this is so easy, but once these are all nice and cooked, I will add in some pineapple as well. I will drain the pineapple before I add it in. Or you can use fresh pineapple too. That always works. But I'm just going to use a can of drained pineapple. And like I mentioned earlier, I just love the combination of pineapple with meatballs. It is just a really awesome combo. So I hope you enjoyed these ideas to use frozen meatballs. We always have frozen meatballs on hand in our freezer, so always like using them and coming up with new recipes. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you are new, and I'll see you all in my next video.